how does Egypt view its participation in the G20 summit for the fourth time? And what goals is it aiming to achieve?
Well, good evening. First of all, as you've mentioned, this further confirms Egypt's pivotal role on the regional and international stages. I mean, Egypt has been attending regularly. President Sisi has been attending regularly the G20 summit since Egypt actually headed the African Union, and afterwards, countries that hosted the G20, whether in Saudi or in India, and this year in Brazil, have all noted the importance of inviting Egypt as a key regional country. I mean, whether in terms of the Middle East or in terms of Africa, so that its views could be listened to and discussed during such important meetings for world leaders. I mean, again, there's no other important time than the current time for actual world leaders of the G20 to listen to the Egyptian point of view, considering the volatile situation we have here in the region with the war ongoing in Gaza and a similar escalation and tremendous losses that are being inflicted by the Israeli aggression in Lebanon, and the generally tense situation, whether in terms of our southern border with Sudan or our western borders with Libya. So in all those kinds of issues, Egypt's point of view is going to be very important to listen to. Besides, of course, there's another aspect related to Egypt's role in the African continent, whether in terms of raising issues related to combating poverty and epidemics in the African continent, but equally important, looking for opportunities for investment and development in the African continent, besides of course, dealing with a number of conflicts that are taking place in Africa.
Sir, can you tell us more and elaborate on the nature of the strategic partnership between Egypt and Brazil, as in what are its key areas of focus?
Well, let me remind you, first of all, that, I mean, as soon as President Silva de Lula was elected in a very significant victory 2 years ago, he was among the first leaders that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi was keen to invite to attend the COP27 meeting, that was summit that was held in Sharm el-Sheikh. And since then, I mean, there has been continuous discussions and consultations between Egypt and Brazil. I mean, there is no question Brazil is such an important country, significant nation in the Latin American continent. And of course, the role of Brazil, the support of President de Lula for Palestinian rights is very significant. He's been known for those kinds of stands. And actually, this has been reflected in the positions that have been adopted by several other several other Latin American countries, like Bolivia, for example, that decided to sever its ties with Israel in protest of the genocide war that it's conducting in Gaza. So on that level, on the political level, it's very important to develop relations with such a big and influential nation as Brazil. And then again, there is another aspect in terms of Egyptian-Brazilian relations related to trade and investments, and that's been growing tremendously over the past years, actually. And it's very important that also Egypt benefits from Brazil's desire to expand its market in the African continent, and there's no other place that Egypt, other than Egypt, which can help in achieving those kind of Brazilian ambitions. So on one hand, we're increasing bilateral trade, but reaching today the level of announcing a strategic partnership between the two countries. And at the same time, Egypt is cooperating with Brazil in terms of expanding and helping important projects in the African continent.